Hey, federal employees, I have an update here on something that doesn't directly affect your employment, but I think every federal employee needs to know about the president's authority and actions with respect to what's happening in DC. So here's, as a federal employee attorney, what I want you to know. So legally, the president can direct the DC Metropolitan Police Department to perform federal purposes if he declares special conditions of an emergency nature via statute. However, that control runs only up to 48 hours. If Congress is formally notified, it can run up to 30 days. Anything longer requires an act of Congress. He can also deploy the DC National Guard. Unlike state guards, like what happened in California, that report to governors, the DC Guard does report to the president, delegated through the Pentagon. That's why you'll see guard uniforms here even without a mayoral request. That said, laws and limits still matter. The Posse Comitatus Act generally bars the federal military from civilian policing. The Justice Department's 1989 legal opinion carved out a key view: the DC National Guard, in its militia status, may still support local law enforcement without violating Posse Comitatus. Courts aren't bound by that opinion, so future lawsuits could test how far this goes. What the president cannot do alone is federalize the entire DC government or repeal what's called home rule. Congress holds the constitutional power over the district, and changing home rule would require congressional action. So a quick reality check on the stated, quote, crime emergency official data show violent crime has fallen sharply since last year, with totals at or near multi-decade lows, even if day-to-day incidents can feel unsettling. He might be trying to do this for presidential authority and to challenge the Constitution. So, one, I would follow any directives you get from your supervisors on this. If you're a Fed who is questioned or disciplined in connection with demonstrations, off-duty conduct, or social media, document everything. Deadlines can move fast in these cases. So if you're concerned about being involved in any of this, you should feel free to reach out to get advice from a federal employee attorney. Regardless, I would stay nonpartisan at work. Neutrality on duty protects your career while this plays out. That said, I did want you to know about this because I think, there's questions this year about whether the president's acting in an authoritarian way and just other legal stories that might not directly affect your employment, but I think you'd want to know. So you better understand the law, the limits, and the abilities of the president. So in summary, in this case, because it's DC, the president has some special statutory authority. It's still going to require an act of Congress if it lasts more than 30 days, and the DC Guard is a little different. There are also still important legal concepts and limitations on the president's powers. He's no king, and just like the rest of us, needs to follow the law. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Hope you have a good day.